Welcome to the KariClub.com. My name is Minesh, and over the next few months we'll be cooking some fantastic, authentic Indian recipes. Some of my personal favourites and some that I've been cooking for 15 years in my own restaurant. So the first recipe we're going to be doing is Mamaji's chicken, which is an interpretation of a dish that my mum used to cook when we were kids. Whenever you're making a dish, especially with chicken or lamb, it's key that the onion are cooked properly. One of the key things is pure 100% sunflower oil. And we're going to be using about 3/4 of the bottle. So the first process is putting our whole seeds in. That's also called tempering. And we're going to be flavouring the oil basically. So in your packet one you'll have some lovely fennel seeds. Pop those in. Kashmiri chilies. And then in go your onions that you've prepped. Now take your time over this bit because this really needs to cook down. So you'll be cooking these for around 10 minutes. So while the onions are cooking, you could also be getting on with your other prep and just chop your tomatoes. The onions have been cooking for around 10 minutes and you'll see a nice golden colour to them. So in goes our garlic and ginger paste. In go our lovely tomatoes. This will be the base of a really lovely homemade paste. Our introduction of salt. Now salt is very, very key because if you don't have the right levels of salt, you can throw all the spices and the garlic and ginger that you want in and you're not going to get that lovely flavour. So what I'm talking about is when you taste something, it should come right to the end of your palate. That indicates that all the spices are working. We're almost ready for introduction of our first spices. Now the onions and tomatoes need to be cooked really well for our spices to go in. So the key is that the powdered spices need a body to cook with. Now, if the onions and tomatoes aren't cooked properly, your spices won't cook properly. So this is a really important foundation step. So in your first packet of spice, you've got turmeric and coriander powder. So that's packet spice 2. We're now going to go to packet 3, which is our red chili powder. I've included a teaspoon for you guys. Now, if you want it spicy, use the whole lot. If you just want to err on the side of caution, just use half the packet. So we'll put half a teaspoon in. And also, if I can get you to this point here, you can see the oil is starting to come to the top. That's a really good indication that our spices are cooking. Okay, in goes our chicken. Now I've supplied boneless diced chicken thighs. So let that cook in the sauce. Now it looks like it's going to be quite dry, but we're going to be adding our cashew nuts and the paste later. So it will completely transform. So your lovely chicken will cook down quite quickly in that hot sauce. So about 6 or 7 minutes later, you'll see that the colour's changed. You'll have a bit of resistance to your spoon. And just until it's just cooked, now we're going to now put your cashew nut paste in. And there's nothing in there that shouldn't be. It's all fresh ingredients. So now, my mum never used to use cashew nuts. This is my tweak. So open our bag. And these are weighed exactly for how much you need. So there's roughly around 100 grams of cashew nuts there. 125 ml of hot water from the tap. Don't do it in cold water because it won't blitz properly. So in goes our cashew nuts. And you can see it completely changes the look of the dish. So the cashew nuts, what it will do, it will take some of the zing out of the spices. Now we're going to build it all the way back up. We've got some lovely roasted garam masala, some kasuri methi, a bit of lime, fresh coriander, more seasoning, and then it's just going to keep going at you. Okay, so now we're going to our packet spice 4, which is kasuri methi, which is roasted fenugreek. Now it's a dried roasted powder, so when you put it into your dish, just rub it in between your palms to break up and release the oils. And then give that a nice stir. We are now going to introduce some fantastic roasted garam masala. Now garam masala just translated means hot spice or warm spice. So you'll find it in your little spice packet 5. It's just such a beautiful flavour. So in that goes. So I'm just going to have a little taste, see how the sauce is doing. So if the seasoning's right, you should get this lovely aroma of a full-bodied aroma. That's lovely. So now we're going to squeeze half of this lime in, so you can either get one of your mates or someone to just warm the lime up. Some of the celebrity chefs say stick it in the microwave for 6 seconds, so whatever's your fancy, but really you just want the lime warmed up so it really releases more and more juice out of it. So don't take a cold lime and just start with it, get it nice and warmed up. So lastly, some beautiful fresh coriander. My wife always says, why do you put things from such a high angle? I just like it, but a lot of chefs do that, but you can actually put it from down there. Okay, so now we're going to go to our sweet potato and carrot thoran. Now, South India in particular have some beautiful thorans, they call it, which is literally a stir fry. Can be of anything really, but cabbage thoran is one of the most popular ones, but we're going to be using the humble sweet potato and the carrot, and we're just literally going to grate it and then stir fry it really quickly with some fantastic spices that I've included in the thoran mix, some fresh ginger, and that's going to go alongside our lovely chicken. So before the fancy chefs said peel your ginger with a teaspoon, my mum has always peeled ginger with a knife. When we were kids, I just thought she was lazy, but actually the sweetest part of the ginger is right underneath the skin. So if you scrape it with a knife or a teaspoon, you'll get the best out of the ginger. So we're going to make the thoran. Again, we're going to just put some oil in. Now leave about a tablespoon left for when we make the chapatis. So we're going to add our packet 6, which is the mustard seeds and the sesame seeds. And you can probably hear them popping. That's a sound I grew up with. My mum would always cook with mustard seeds. I'd hear them spluttering just like that. Lots of lovely finely sliced ginger. Now squeeze your lime and then your lovely thoran mix, which is fresh curry leaves, asafoetida and turmeric. And all goes your lovely grated sweet potato and carrot. Add some salt. So just doing the chapatis now. So when I used to come home from school, my mum would have a fresh stack of chapatis waiting. I'd have that with a little bit of pickle, so a little bit of salt, and water, and about a tablespoon of oil. And just knead that until all the flour's gone. So you can either keep some of the flour aside just to do your dusting, or you can just take a bit of plain flour or whatever flour you have at home just to finish off the dough. Okay. And just break off. Once you've made the dough, you can just clean your hands and then rub a little bit of oil on them to help you make the little roundels. This rolling pin is a very traditional Indian rolling pin, and the idea is it just spins around with the weight. You have the weight on the ends of the rolling pin and it literally just spins into a really nice thin round chapati. So you should see some of the edges starting to bubble and inside, so you then just flip it over. You can flip them over a couple of times or do them 1 minute each side. That's it. So optional bit is just to rub it with butter. My mum would have a block of butter in the fridge purely designed for this, so it'd always have the marks of the chapati on there. We'd put it back in the fridge and this would be just for the chapatis. And now we're going to show you how to make the perfect basmati rice. I always start off with a bay leaf and a load of boiling water in a pan. So I'm not measuring the water, it's not absorption method that we're doing. So take a normal saucepan and just fill it with some water, put it on to boil, drop a bay leaf in there and a touch of salt, a drop of oil, you can add some butter in there if you like as a little optional extra, but we're going to be tempering the rice with some beautiful cumin seeds and bay leaves afterwards at the end to make it really fragrant. Now the key to good rice is using a really nice old rice. It means that the grains are slightly dusty and more matte in colour. If you can see lots of white bits, that means the rice is new and it won't give you that much of a fuller flavour. So older basmati rice absorbs more water, therefore it's fluffier a lot more aromatic. Now, it really upsets me when I see recipes that don't wash rice properly. So we've always washed rice, my mum's always washed rice when we were kids. You know, get a nice bowl like this and actually submerge the rice in water, so room temperature water, neither cold, neither hot, and just gently wash this rice, pour the water back out at least 6 or 7 times. So as you can see, the water's starting to get clearer now, and we're probably about 1 wash away from it being ready. Our rice is all washed, so just pop that into the water. So if you've washed the rice properly, we can have a little stir. So we've got the salt in there, a little bit of oil and the bay leaves. Just gather that together, and then in about 6 or 7 minutes, this rice will be cooked. The rice will start floating to the top. You'll smell this lovely aroma. So basmati means full of aroma. As soon as that's ready, you can just break a grain in front of your finger and then put it in the colander. Whatever you do, do not wash it afterwards. You're washing all that lovely flavour out of it. You pick up some grains, they're almost ready. You can see they're nice and fluffy. So you can just pick up a grain, and if it breaks gently, it's almost there. So just about a minute away. Just take a fork and gently release the steam. So once all the water's drained out, I tip it out into a flat dish. And if you're cooking for a lot of people, you'll have a lot of rice, so this is quite essential because this stops the rice from overcooking. So the remaining oil, a little bit of butter, which is optional, some cumin seeds and some bay leaves. Just give that a little toast. And then just to gently pass this over, you should end up with a beautiful aromatic basmati rice with cumin seeds, butter and bay leaves. We've just cooked our first Curry Club box, and it was Mamaji's chicken with fennel seeds and Kashmiri chilies, cooked with cashew nuts, lots of flavour with our roasted garam masala and fenugreek. We've had sweet potato and carrot thoran with toasted sesame seeds and mustard seeds and fresh ginger. We've got beautiful bay leaf and butter and cumin seed basmati rice, a homemade chapati, and I've included a little apricot and ginger chutney made by me. I really hope you've enjoyed cooking it. Please go onto our website for further recipes of authentic regional Indian cooking. Thank you.